All right, so, The Price is Right, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't? Everyone remembers those
Yeah.
iconic game shows, all the excitement, the prizes, the whole glamorous atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a classic.
But, what about what went on behind the scenes? I mean, what was it really like? What was it actually like to be a part of all that?
Well, today, we're going to get a glimpse into that world, a little bit of a backstage pass, if you will, through the eyes of Kathleen Bradley.
Oh, cool.
Kathleen Bradley's memoir. She wrote a book called Backstage at the Price is Right, Memoirs of a Barker Beauty, and it's basically a deep dive into her time on the show. She was one of the Barker Beauties, obviously.
Right.
And for those who may not know, she was actually the very first African-American model to be on the show, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think she started in 1990, right?
Yep, 1990. And she worked there a whole decade, so she really got to see a lot.
It's such a unique perspective. I mean, we all have this idea of The Price is Right being this, happy, shiny, kind of wholesome thing.
It's pure fun.
Right.
Pure entertainment. Everyone's winning. Everyone's happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I bet there's a whole other story there, right?
No, absolutely. And her book is pretty revealing. I mean, she doesn't shy away from, talking about some of the less glamorous aspects of being on that kind of show.
Really? Like what?
Well, from what I gather, I mean, it's everything. It's the behind-the-scenes drama, the pre-show prep, all the stuff you don't really think about, like, what they were doing before they even stepped out onto that stage.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the stuff that happened once the cameras stopped rolling.
The stuff we never saw.
Exactly.
That's so interesting because, you always kind of wonder, you see these personalities on TV and you wonder what they're actually like when the cameras are off.
Oh, absolutely. And,
Yeah.
she even talks about things like, I don't know, like the rivalries between the models, that kind of classic behind-the-scenes competition stuff.
I've heard. Yeah, you always hear those stories. Right, exactly. But it goes deeper than that.
Mm-hmm.
She also hints at some pretty serious things happening, like lawsuits and legal battles. I mean, things that the public, had absolutely no idea about.
Wow, that's kind of dark. I mean, The Price is Right, lawsuits. Doesn't seem to go together.
Right. And it makes you think, how much of what we see on TV is actually real and how much is just, carefully constructed for our entertainment.
It's like, they say the camera adds 10 pounds, but maybe it also adds 10 layers of, like, artificial happiness and good vibes.
Huh. Yeah, maybe so. And it's not just about the drama and the lawsuits. She also addresses some pretty, sensitive issues. Like, she talks about her experiences as an African-American woman in that environment and some of the challenges she faced.
Oh, I bet. I mean, especially back then. 1990 wasn't exactly known for its, social progressiveness.
No, not really.
Yeah.
And she talks about, things like being told to change her hairstyle to make her appear less threatening to the audience.
Seriously. Wow. I mean, it's so disheartening to hear, but it's also really important that she's sharing these experiences.
Yeah, exactly. It really makes you think about, the kind of hidden realities behind these seemingly glamorous worlds.
And it kind of makes you wonder, right? Like, how much has really changed since then? I mean, are these kinds of things still happening in the entertainment industry today?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of the things that really stood out to me in all of this was how Bradley, she initially approached this job as a pretty straightforward thing. Like, be on TV, get a good paycheck, have a decent schedule, and that's it. She wasn't expecting all the drama and the challenges that came with it.
Yeah, it's funny how life rarely goes according to plan, right?
Right. And, this whole thing, it really makes you question, how we view these shows and the people on them. Like, are we just seeing, carefully crafted personas? Are we missing the whole picture?
Exactly. And it raises some bigger questions too, right? Like, what are the ethical implications of this kind of thing? Should we be more aware of the potential, hidden realities behind the entertainment we consume?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get swept up in the glitz and glamour of it all, but it's important to remember that there are real people behind those, TV personas.
And those people have real stories, and sometimes those stories aren't always pretty.
Exactly. And I think it's important that we listen to those stories because, they can teach us a lot about the world we live in, even if it's just a glimpse behind the curtain of a game show.
That's a good point. Even something as seemingly lighthearted as The Price is Right can have a deeper story to tell.
And, I've also heard that Bradley did an interview on Extra where she talks about some of these revelations from the book in even more detail.
Really? Oh, I'd love to see that.
Me too. I haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet, but I definitely want to. I think it would be really interesting to hear her talk about some of these things in her own words.
Yeah, I think that would add a whole other layer to this whole deep dive.
Definitely. And, for anyone who's listening who's also intrigued by this, I definitely recommend checking out that extra interview. It might give you a better understanding of what we've been talking about today. And who knows, you might even be interested in reading Bradley's book. And it's definitely a fascinating look behind the scenes of a show that, so many of us grew up watching.
Yeah, I think this whole thing really underscores how important it is to look beyond the surface and, dig a little deeper into the stories we're being told.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the most interesting stories are the ones that are hidden in plain sight.
Well said.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today. But, keep thinking about this, folks. What other shows, what other industries might have hidden realities we should be more aware of? Lots to consider.
Definitely food for thought.
Until next time.
See ya.
Kathy offers valuable insights for those seeking a fulfilling career in entertainment. Embrace challenges. Don't shy away from obstacles, which often lead to growth and resilience. Seek mentorship. Find experienced professionals who can guide and support you on your journey. Be authentic. Stay true to yourself and let your unique voice shine through.